100% customer satisfaction. When you're looking for goods and services, call a member of the Ocala Business Leaders, and we are confident you will be pleased with the results. If you are interested in becoming a member of the Ocala Business Leaders, join us at the Ocala Elks Lodge, 25th Avenue in Ocala, any Wednesday at 7 a.m. and enjoy a breakfast on us. For more information, check OcalaBusinessLeaders.com.
I'm Scotty, owner of 12 Rounds Boxing, with a personal invite for you to come check out my gym in Ocala, Florida, open 7 days a week from 10 a to 10 p. Come check us out.
WOCA.
Today, more clouds than sun, with a shower or a thunderstorm around in some spots during the afternoon. High 89 to 91. For tonight, cloudy most of the night with a low 72 to 78. Then a blend of sun and clouds for Wednesday with a shower or a thunderstorm around in the afternoon. High 89 to 91. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Kevin Snyder.
This is Jan from Palm Garden. Now that our governor is slowly reopening our state, the number one question I get is, when can I visit my loved one at Palm Garden? The quick answer is that I don't know. I can tell you that we were the first to close and will likely be the last to reopen in order to protect our residents. Limiting visitors, screening, and masks will also be likely. Until we are able to see you again, we are Palm Garden.
On June 10th at 10:35 a.m., Adam's guests will be from Ruby Slipper LLC to talk about their car seat cover, a specially designed heavy-duty double-layered seat cover with a unique sliding action that allows passengers to swivel into their car. Created by Catherine Miles, the Ruby Slipper car seat cover can help with mobility for anyone who has such difficulty. Again, that's 10:35, June 10th. It's news you can use from Catherine Miles and your friends here at WOCA The Source.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Auto repair with personal care, we know what we're talking about. Matt Gibbs and the guys over at Sonrise, Automotive will
treat you right. And good morning, everybody. Listening to AM Ocala Live, WOCA, The Source. Now 8 minutes past the top of the 10 o'clock hour. In the studio, I've got from Sonrise Automotive Repair with personal care, Matt Gibbs. Good morning, partner.
Morning.
How's it going?
It's going well.
We were just discussing a little bit off air there about how we had quite a bit of rain this past weekend, but it's kind of a good thing. I think it gave a lot of people an excuse to just kind of hang around and not do a whole lot. I think every now and then it's nice because the sun shines so often here. And like I said, I'm a northern boy, so there was always this feeling that if it's nice up there, if there's one nice day, it's like, what are you doing in the house? Get outside. You don't know how long this will last. And what always bothered me was like if whatever job I worked at the time, if I put in like a 12, 13-hour day and the next day I had off, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to chill. But it ended up being that was the only nice day of the week, and there's this guilt that consumes you, like you should be outside. But see, here in Florida, that's a little different because a lot of people just ease back and chill, and they say, well, tomorrow's going to be sunny. But then this weekend, it's that feeling where it's like, well, if it is raining, then it is nice to just relax. There's no guilt. There's no guilt whatsoever, and just relax and enjoy your time. And like I said, we went bowling, man. That was cool. Bowling? Yeah, brought my boy, and he got his first strike. Of course, we got the rack and everything. He's only 2.5, but we pushed it over. And what's really cool, though, is I got him a little systematic little procedure to it. So when it was his turn, we would slide the rail. He'd push it up to the line. And then he'd go, I said, okay, what color ball you want? And he'd like, every now and then he'd switch it up. He'd like, I want the blue. And I'd say, okay, you got to be strong. And he'd start to pick it up, but obviously it's too heavy and that whole hand underneath. But then I would kind of lessen the help, and then he would hold on to it. And then I would help him get up to the top. And I would say, because as soon as in the beginning, as soon as he put it up there, let's push it down the ramp. But I said, nope, got to put it up on the ramp. We're going to count to 3, deep breath, look at those pins, and go. And it was cool because every time we did that, he was starting to do that same thing. So that was kind of neat.
So did he get a higher score than you did?
No. Although I didn't do very well myself either. But I think the highest I had was a 150. It was not good. But nonetheless, as we got you in here a little bit today for the callers out there, I know there was a few anxious to get a call into In the Garden with Carol Ann. Unfortunately, she had other obligations today, but we ran one from a few weeks ago, which was a good show, actually, that we ran. And I know it makes me feel good when there's callers because maybe they don't know the difference other than the date itself. But right now, live, AM Ocala Live, we got Matt Gibbs in the studio. So if there's something you'd like to call in and ask him, and when it comes to automotive repair, 622-9622, as we're continuing here through this Tuesday. So I was going to ask you, partner, with some of the stories you have, I was going to ask you to maybe bring another one here to the table. When it comes to a lot of stuff you've seen in your experience, I thought, every now and then I need to bring up something that you can tell a story to, but I figured I need to bring it to a topic. So I was going to tell you, when it comes to what you've seen in the automotive industry as a technician and repairman, is there anything you've had when it's come to a lot of rain or water? Yeah, and I was gonna say that was my segue then from the weekend to talk about what you've experienced so far with a lot of rain or water when it comes to cars.
Okay, so this just happened. It was Sunday, actually. It wasn't even at the store.
Yeah.
We went to church. After church, we went to some friends a bunch of us went to some friends for lunch after church.
Yeah.
So one of the guys there, he's like, man, can you go for a ride with me in my car? Because my job never stops. Just ask my wife.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. You're like, can I finish the sandwich first from lunch, and then we'll go for a ride?
So he's like, no, can we go ahead and go for a ride before we eat? So we're gonna go for a ride in his car, and his wife hands me this. It was like a half a roll of paper towels.
Yeah.
And she folded them up real nice, and she handed them to me, and she said, "You'll know exactly what this is for." And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what have I got myself into? So we're in this car, and it's raining.
Yeah, it's coming down pretty good too, because I know about the time you were describing earlier off air. Yeah, it was raining pretty good.
It was pretty good. And it was raining inside the car as much as it was outside the car, and that's what the paper towels were for.
That's what the paper towels were for.
But that's not why he had me ride in the car. He had me ride in the car because it had a really bad noise.
Yeah.
The paper towels was just to get the water off my face as we're driving down the road. So,
yeah. Man, so where was it leaking from? It was coming in
from his sunroof.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which there's a myth out there. Sunroofs are supposed to leak a little bit, but they're designed to leak a certain way that it channels that water out.
They don't leak a little bit. They leak a lot of it. A lot of it.
A lot of it. Yeah.
Okay, so there's tubes that run down in the A pillars.
Okay. Yeah.
So if those tubes get, especially, we see a lot if you park outside.
Yeah.
Acorns.
Oh yeah.
Popsicle sticks. Toys. Thinking, how did the army man get inside the tube for the, great,
don't sell short the movie Toy Story. They come to life when you're not paying attention.
Right. That's what it is. Marbles.
Oh yeah.
See, marble. I mean, it's like the Q-tips. Do you put your ear to put it up there and flush it down?
Interesting, man. That's crazy. That is crazy.
So sometimes the tube. So that tube goes down the A-pillar, which is that, where the windshield is, that little piece of metal up there that holds the windshield in, that's your A-pillar. So there's a tube that runs down there. So sometimes you got to drop the headliner down.
Oh, yeah.
Disconnect the rubber tube.
Yeah, and then along that side, you got the panel that comes off of that. Yeah.
So on my way here...
Yeah.
On my way here, I had to stop at a dealership.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt, look inside that truck right there. And I look inside the truck, and there's about 2.5 inches of water.
Holy cow.
So I said, so what's leaking? Because it wasn't raining right when I just went over there. He says, the roof.
Yeah.
It rains from the roof. I said, where? He says, everywhere from the roof. It just rains in.
So does it have a sunroof?
Yeah.
And when we're talking about where does it back up in certain areas?
Yeah, it's backing up, and it was just pouring.
Oh my goodness, that's
So now
that's tough goes. That's tough.
Right. So now we're talking about the whole interior is going to have to come out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to stink.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Is this Florida sun when it does stop raining and it comes out and it gets that humid oof. Yeah. Now going back to your buddy who had the noise. What was the noise of his car?
The noise was a right front hub bearing.
Oh yeah.
Which was bad.
Bad. You know what? The Explorer I had when I had gotten did I get the tires rotated with an oil change? It ended up being where he said, "Hey, that there's a hub bearing that's going out." He says you probably hear it. It's not good. And then riding down the road, what does that sound like when it's actually going bad and bad and bad?
Like just a growl, like a growl.
Okay.
A growling sound. And so if you hear that, is all you have to do is if you're driving down the road, you just kind of go to the right.
Yeah.
Just kind of like you're going to swap lanes, just but listen to the noise.
Yeah.
So if the noise gets deeper, okay, or if the noise goes away.
Yeah.
Okay, then we know it's a hub bearing. If the noise does not change pitch, then it's usually going to be a tire. Something going on with a tire.
Right. That's interesting, and I think I look back on it now, and I think that was about right. And with those bearings, how long are those usually expected to last?
It depends. I mean, sometimes. Like this particular car had 302,000 miles.
Oh, baby. So it's about
it lasted for 302,000
Yeah, I was going to say, it's about due.
You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of other stuff about due, too. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, his wife called me and said, "Listen, don't fix the car. Please don't fix the car.
Yeah.
He just needs to get another car."
What year is the car? To put that many miles on it?
I think it was a 99, and it was a Mercury Mountaineer, which is the
same thing as the Explorer. Interesting, and like you said, sunroof is leaking. Now it's got that bearing, and then like you said, it's 300,000 miles or some other stuff going with it. She looking to basically say like, all right, he needs something.
Yeah, he needs something different. Yeah. But the scary part of it is, and there is a scary part, and I don't try to ever scare anybody into anything.
Right.
But that hub is also the 5 lugs.
Yeah.
That hold your wheel on.
Yeah.
Are attached to that bearing.
Yeah.
So if that bearing decides I'm going to give up the ghost, well, there goes your wheel.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right. Absolutely. And I've heard that before for the importance of having that. If you hear that, to have that looked at and get changed. Because it's really, it's what you're pretty much just taking off the tire. Then you're going to get in there. You have to take off the rotor if it's disc brakes, right? Yep. And then just right back inside there.
Well, then you have to disconnect. Sometimes you'll have to disconnect the spindle or break the ball joint loose. Some of them are actually 4 bolts. Some of the cars, because not everything's the same. So some of them you have to literally take the whole entire spindle off.
Oh, is that right?
Send it to the machine shop, and they got to press the bearings in and out.
Oh, wow.
So sometimes like a Hondas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They can be, and Toyotas especially. They can be it's a lot more money to fix them on Toyotas and Hondas.
But we do know with that design, it's supposed to last longer because of the way it's basically put in there. It's supposed to hold up even farther because of the way it's.
Yeah, but I see where
you see it. Yeah,
I see it where it it is what it is.
It is
what they are, and they do what they do, and
We do got a caller. Thanks for waiting. WOCA, you're on the air right here with Matt Gibbs.
Hi, Matt. Sonny calling in. Well, you just reaffirmed my belief is you don't want to buy a car that has the manufacturer's built-in hole in the roof. So, anyway, I had not too long ago a beautiful car and everything else, but that had the sunroof. I said, no, thank you. And they were surprised. But, why would you buy a potential headache with a new car?
No, I get
That's the way I look at it.
Sure. And
some of the cars today, if you want the better model, you got to take what comes with the car. That's what they're telling me. I don't know.
Yeah, that's right.
But that doesn't certainly make sense to me. So anyway, that's my experiences with sunroofs.
There you go.
And I just know that with my luck, it would be raining on the inside. But anyway, it's amazing how I figured as much that they had to have tubes or something draining the water out of that thing. But I didn't think it was all that complicated. And don't they make something that you can either squirt down there or whatever? But then again, once you have marbles or something like that in the tube, it's
That's true.
scores.
Yeah, most of the time it's just like a fungus in there, like mold grows up in there.
Yeah.
So a lot of times all you got to do is just air hose.
Right.
And blow them out.
Right.
Yeah.
But you got to be real careful because you'll blow them out and then you'll pop the hose off of the frame.
Yep.
Because there's a piece of and then pow, and
then you got it.
And there's a mess there, buddy.
Well, thanks for the call, Sonny. Appreciate it. Thanks for listening, partner.
All right, you all have a good day now.
You too, buddy. Now, he mentioned that, he's right on par there with my dad. My dad's always said that. He's like, you need a sunroof for. And I got to be honest with you, partner, I love a sunroof.
Do you really?
I'm actually disappointed my Escape doesn't have it. I love the vehicle I have, and the only thing that's missing is the sunroof.
Well, we can get one put in for you.
Do they do that even? Like, is that a thing? The aftermarket, punch a hole in the thing and put a sunroof in there?
Yes, sir.
Do they really?
It's called ASC, American Sunroof Corporation.
Yeah.
In Orlando.
Is that right?
Orlando. Pop you in the sunroof.
That's incredible. Yeah, I wondered about that. Now, and would that be? I always feel like that aftermarket would be. But then again, they do a good job. It'd be hold up for a while. But I've always liked it because I'll ride around. It's like my skylight. It makes me feel less enclosed in. I love it, and I love, especially here in Florida, being able to look right through it and you see this beautiful sky. And plus, too, being a fan of aviation, the airplanes and stuff like that, you can see them better when you look straight up. And then I love having it open like these evenings after it rains and everything. So like yesterday evening, so we had quite a bit of rain in the afternoon, right? But what happens is like all of that dissipates and everything cools down a little bit. And man, there's nothing better than when the sun's going down in the evening and it gets cooler like that after everything is rain, is having that open with that cool air blowing on you. Yeah, and I miss that, like I said, a little bit. But my dad always told me, he's like, that's going to be a headache, eventually. And I've had one vehicle that had an issue with it. I had a Jeep Liberty. It was a 2006, and so you could tilt. It could tilt up, right, and then it could come all the way open. But the way the button was is that if you wanted it open, but it was tilted, if you hit the back button, it would come down, and then it would decide to go.
Right.
Well, something happened when I was driving on the bridge. It was like a crosswind, and as it started to go down and do its thing, because it's a lot more to come down, try to get below that, and then do its thing to come back, instead of just having it close. And I always told myself, just close it first from the vent, and then open it. That way you just reduce the whole all the mechanisms working all at one time. And I remember driving, and there was like as I had it coming open, and I even felt it coming off a little crosswind from the bridge. I even felt it with the car. I was like, ooh. And as it was going back, all of a sudden I heard, and it was just trying to like go back, but it just kept clicking. And it got stuck. So now it's open, right? Well, it came down to where there's like hinges on there that you can pop out, so then it'll fold down closed. And then I had to because as I would go faster and faster with that down, there was nothing suspended to hold it. So as you got faster and faster, it kind of flutter in the wind. And eventually I had to zip tie it.
Oh, no.
And I went to go look at price at fixing it, because it was like a plastic piece that was on the track that popped.
Right.
And what it was is what needs to stay tracked wasn't. And they're basically like, nah, you got to replace the whole thing. And that was going to be like $1,500. And I was like, that's a third of the value of the vehicle. But my dad, first thing he said, he's like, well, I told you so.
Yeah. Boy.
I was like, yeah, you're right. But for the time being, it just, it's just a skylight, which I don't mind either way.
Yeah, and seeing and there's ways where it doesn't cost $1,500.
Yeah, I thought about that too, but it wasn't a big priority anyway, so to speak. And I just told myself though that I really enjoyed it, and I thought, any vehicle nowadays. This is what my dad thinks again. Is because he's now driving a 2001 Ford F-150. He used to have a 2000, and he drove. whenever he's had a truck, he's drove it for years, umpteen years. I remember the first truck he had, first one I remember when I was a kid, it was a blue Ford. I don't know if it was an F-150 yet. Yeah, I think it was. And then he got this black one, and that was back then when they had the dual gas tanks, and it was an extended cab and had a cap for it and everything. And it was in 1984, and from when I remember being like 5, 6, he drove that thing up until I was in high school, almost high school. And then he got this other Ford truck, it was a 2000, and he drove that up until just a couple years ago. So he drives them for a long time. Well, he gets this one, and it's a Lariat edition, but remember, it's old. So I was like, oh, man, this one's got all the bells and whistles. And he's like, yeah, all the things that go wrong. Well, the seat doesn't move, the heated coil for the seats broke, just all that stuff. He goes, there's just more stuff to go wrong. So that was always the argument. Well, then do you look at, not just, let's say you can afford the vehicle. A lot of people look at just the vehicle, low miles, and is it going to be, if it's a used one, is it lower miles, was treated fair, was it good? Doesn't matter if it's an XL, XLT, or a Platinum Edition. Right. And then I realized as I grew up how much time I spend in a vehicle, how much time in my life is in a car. I'm sorry, I want them all. I want the heated seats. I want the bells and whistles. I'm not saying I have to drive something new. I can drive something definitely used. Mine's 7 years old, but it holds up because it's got all those little things. Because those are the comfort things, man. And it's like if those options are there, and how much time I spend in my vehicle in my lifetime, then I think it's worth the value in that. And I know there's a lot of folks like my dad's generation are like, no, not at all. It's just more things to go wrong, and at the same time you're going to save money by getting the lower trim anyway. And do you really need all that? As long as it drives, it's getting you to point A to point B. And I said, yeah, it's getting me from point A to point B 4 days a week with an hour to 2 hours every single day in that car, sometimes on longer drives. And at the big span of owning that vehicle, it's like I've been in there a lot in my life, that it is worth it for those little extra trim packages, so to speak.
I like my stuff, man.
Yeah. And I tell you this, after having heated seats, I'm never going to not have them. Even in Florida, my friend.
I tell you what I have.
My Florida.
I have a heated steering wheel.
Yeah.
I don't even care about the heated seats anymore. My little hands stay warm.
They stay warm, and it feels good on your hands too. Because I realize this reason I like the heated seats is how good it feels on my back.
Yeah.
Like on those long drives, it's like, man, you can conquer anything. And they say, well, in Florida it gets hot, but then again, you got that AC on, so you got that cold blowing AC, and you got that warm, consistent heat pad back.
Man, it makes me want to drive right out of California. Come on, Adam, let's go.
Let's go do it.
You don't need to be a pilot.
That's right. Let's just drive it. And then again, an hour and a half on I-75, you're like, I wish we would have flown. Awesome. So as we are just about a minute and a half to go as we come to the bottom of the 10 o'clock hour, Matt Gibbs, Sonrise Automotive repair with personal care. So I'm gonna keep doing that, partner. Every time I got you in to kind of relate a story for something that I know you've been through so much with vehicles, that I'm gonna always tie it into a little topic. So with the rain that happened on Sunday, that was my segue into what it is for you and how you dealt with rain, and everything else. Yeah, sunroofs, they leak a lot.
They all leak.
They all leak.
And we thank God for leaking sunroofs.
That's right. Yeah. Now as we come towards the bottom of the 10 o'clock hour, I want to thank you, Matt, for coming on in,
yes,
and we got more good show coming your way, as we're going to be coming back to round out the show with On This Day in History, our segment there to tie in some of the events that have happened on this day in history. As we've had some good ones yesterday too, as we had Lena in here to discuss a few of them, and there's some good ones today I see as well. Awesome. Well, until then, my friend, take her easy. Thanks for coming on in.
See ya.
WOCA back after this.